In this video, we delve into the contrasting environmental policies of President Biden and former President Trump. While Biden has proposed ambitious plans aimed at achieving a 50% reduction in carbon emissions, Trump's administration took a different approach, advocating for increased fossil fuel production and rolling back key environmental regulations. Join us as we explore the implications of these differing strategies, the impact on our planet and public health, and what the future holds for America's clean energy landscape. 1. Biden's bold carbon reduction plan. In a determined stride towards a greener future, President Joe Biden committed to reducing the United States' carbon emissions by 50% by the year 2030. This ambitious goal was part of the Paris Agreement, a global pact aimed at combating climate change. Biden's plan was not just about numbers, it was a vision for a sustainable planet, urging the world to shift towards renewable energy sources. The 50% target was a call to action for industries, communities, and individuals to rethink their carbon footprints. Biden's administration emphasized the importance of clean energy investments, hoping to spark innovation and job creation in the renewable sector. By setting such a goal, the United States aimed to lead by example, inspiring other nations to follow suit in the global fight against climate change. 2. Trump's environmental rollbacks. In stark contrast, former President Donald Trump took a different route, choosing to roll back over 125 environmental regulations during his tenure. These rollbacks made it significantly easier for industries to pollute the air and water, prioritizing short-term economic gain over long-term environmental health. Trump believed that these regulations were burdensome for businesses, particularly in the fossil fuel sector. By repealing these policies, industries faced fewer restrictions, leading to an increase in pollution and potential harm to ecosystems. This approach not only reversed years of environmental progress but also raised concerns about the health implications for future generations. Critics argued that Trump's policies favored corporate interests over public welfare, setting a concerning precedent for environmental stewardship. 3. An open door for fossil fuels. Trump's administration was notably supportive of fossil fuel production, actively promoting drilling and mining on public lands and protected areas. This push for fossil fuels was seen as a way to boost domestic energy production and create jobs in the traditional energy sectors. However, this approach often came at the expense of environmental preservation, encroaching on lands that were previously shielded from industrial activities. The decision to open these areas for resource extraction was controversial, sparking debates about the balance between economic development and environmental conservation. By prioritizing fossil fuels, the administration signaled a departure from the global shift towards cleaner energy alternatives. This stance not only affected the U.S.'s environmental policies but also its standing in international climate discussions. 4. Vehicle emission standards under scrutiny. One of the significant moves by the Trump administration was the rollback of vehicle emissions standards. These standards, initially said to reduce pollution from transportation, were relaxed, leading to increased emissions from cars and trucks. Transportation is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, and weakening these standards posed a threat to air quality and public health. The decision was met with criticism from environmental groups and states that were committed to maintaining stricter standards. By allowing higher emissions, the rollback potentially increased pollution levels, contributing to respiratory diseases and other health issues. The shift in policy highlighted the administration's preference for deregulation, even when it meant compromising environmental and health goals. 5. Withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. In a move that shocked environmentalists worldwide, Trump withdrew the United States from the Paris Agreement, a landmark accord aimed at curbing global warming. This decision was seen as a setback for international climate efforts, as the U.S. was a key player in the agreement. By exiting the pact, the Trump administration signaled a retreat from global cooperation on climate change, raising concerns about the U.S.'s commitment to environmental responsibility. The withdrawal was justified by the belief that the agreement was unfair to American workers and industries. However, critics argued that it undermined global solidarity and hindered progress towards a sustainable future. The move was seen as a step backward in the fight against climate change, prompting other nations to question the US's leadership on environmental issues. 6. Investment in clean energy versus fossil fuels. Biden's plan to tackle climate change involved significant investments in clean energy, aiming to transition the economy towards renewable sources like wind and solar. This approach was intended to create jobs, reduce dependence on fossil fuels, and lower carbon emissions. In contrast, Trump's administration slashed funding for renewable energy initiatives, focusing instead on bolstering coal and oil industries. This divergence in strategies highlighted the differing priorities of the two administrations. While Biden viewed clean energy as the future of economic growth and environmental health, Trump saw fossil fuels as the backbone of energy independence. The clash of these perspectives underscored the ongoing debate about the best path forward for sustainable energy development. 7. Impact of environmental rollbacks. The environmental rollbacks under Trump were estimated to increase greenhouse gas emissions by millions of metric tons annually. This rise in emissions posed a significant challenge to climate progress, potentially offsetting gains made in previous years. Environmental scientists warned that these policies could set back efforts to combat climate change for decades, jeopardizing the planet's future. The increase in emissions not only contributed to global warming but also had direct consequences for air quality and public health. The long-term effects of these rollbacks were a cause for concern, as they threatened to erode the progress made in reducing pollution and protecting ecosystems. The legacy of these policies was a topic of debate, with discussions centered around their impact on the environment and the economy. 8. Deregulation and corporate interests. Trump's support for deregulation primarily benefited major oil, gas, and coal corporations, aligning with his administration's pro-business agenda. These industries, which faced fewer restrictions under Trump's policies, were able to expand operations and increase production. However, this deregulation came at a cost, as it undermined efforts to address climate change and protect natural resources. Critics argued that the focus on corporate interests overlooked the broader implications for the environment and public health. The rollback of climate policies was seen as a victory for industry lobbyists but a setback for environmental advocates. As the administration prioritized economic growth over ecological sustainability, the debate over the role of government regulation in protecting the environment intensified. 9. Health consequences of increased pollution. The rollback of climate policies under Trump had potential long-term health consequences, particularly concerning respiratory diseases due to increased pollution levels. Air quality deteriorated as industries faced fewer restrictions on emissions, leading to higher concentrations of harmful pollutants. This rise in pollution posed risks to vulnerable populations, including children and the elderly, who were more susceptible to respiratory illnesses. The health implications of these policies were a significant concern for public health officials, who warned of the potential for increased hospitalizations and healthcare costs. The connection between environmental policies and health outcomes became a focal point of discussions, emphasizing the need for comprehensive strategies to address pollution and protect public well-being.